Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
At the 11th hour, the government of Canada and its unions have reached a tentative deal, all to put an end to what has been a traffic disaster at the border today.
For months, many didn't think he'd ever make it out of the hospital with COVID.
Yeah, he walked out of the room and said, this guy isn't going to make it.
But he's back, his beard is back, and he has a message for the people watching.
All right, but we're going to begin tonight with the local forecasters tracking some late-night storms.
Ben, are those storms going to stick around long?
It looks like it, Kim and Devin. Sunset didn't kill these things. They've been around for the last few hours, and it looks like we'll see a few more even as daybreak approaches on, well, later this Saturday morning. Here's Storm Tracker 4. We've got the light rain that's over us right now, and you can see a few more organized cells with those lightning strikes that are west of Jackson. And the map showing that those are going to roll through here. We'll see a little bit more activity we're expecting in the south zone than what we're going to get for the rest of the area. But by daybreak tomorrow, a lot of this, even though it may still be around very earlier, it's going to wrap up pretty quickly past about 8, 9 o'clock. And then we're in for a dry remainder of the morning, but it looks like showers coming back in the second half of Saturday. So both Saturday and Sunday, we've got shower and thunderstorm chances. It's going to be a lot wetter tomorrow than it is Sunday, but neither day is going to be a complete washout. So we'll check the timing on that and look at even more heat and humidity next week. Triple-digit heat index readings may be in our future. So more on that coming up.
We'll get right back to you in a bit here, Ben. A strike by Canada's border guards and staff leads to a traffic nightmare at all of the border crossings between the U.S. and Canada. Wait times at the Ambassador Bridge and the Blue Water Bridge spanned hours. The wait at the tunnel going on 4.5, even longer for some.
Mara McDonald is along Fort Street tonight. Mara, it appears the government of Canada and its border unions have reached an 11th hour deal.
Kimberly, Devin, take a look. This gives you just a sample of how really awful the traffic has been at U.S.-Canada border crossings all day. But now the government of Canada has reached a deal with its unions just in time because vaccinated U.S. citizens can cross on Monday. Imagine this fiasco times 10 if it had continued. It has been a long, slow, painful afternoon into evening for anybody trying to cross into Canada from Detroit.
I've been truck driving for 18 years. I've never seen this, never, ever. Nothing even close to this. It's kind of ridiculous, because we all got to get home at some point.
For Ryan, it took him 4 hours to just get to the turnoff to make his way to the tunnel. Canada's border guards and staff have been unable to come to terms on a new contract, an impasse that's been festering for 3 years. Today marks the first day of what's called their Work to Rule strike action, and it has brought every border between the U.S. and Canada to a crawl. Detroit police mobilized to try and clear the traffic that started to overtake Jefferson and block off certain streets to ease the congestion. But the commercial truck traffic is also at a standstill at the Ambassador Bridge. Nobody is going anywhere fast. We met up with Natalie as she was stuck in line for 4 hours.
If I get home, I will be pleased. That's where I'm at the moment. My AC blew about 2 hours ago, so if I can get home to AC, that's all I want.
With this tentative deal, it is unclear whether the unions are going to return personnel to their posts full-time starting tomorrow. I can tell you what, after talking to a whole lot of people who waited in traffic for a very long time, I'm sure they hope it happens. We are in Southwest Detroit. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara. In coronavirus headlines tonight, the state reports a steep rise in cases.
Michigan reporting 3,962 new cases. That's over the past 3 days, so an average of more than 1,300 cases per day. Since July 6th, average number of new cases per day has jumped from 137 to 938. Meanwhile, the White House says half of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated, not just on the first dose, but fully vaccinated. And the federal freeze on student loan payments has been extended now through January of next year. It was scheduled to expire in October.
Well, when we last told you about Chuck Robertson, the big bearded girl dad from Livonia, he was in very bad shape. Fighting COVID, he was on a ventilator and in need of a special bed at a different hospital just for a chance at a lung transplant. Well, he got that bed, and as Jason Colthorpe reports, he slowly but surely improved to return to the family that refused to give up.
Watching Chuck Robertson struggle to get out of the house is a dream come true for his daughters Sophia, Allie, and Faith, and his wife Lisa. They refused to let him go when his days on a ventilator hit 50, 60, 70, when they thought he needed a lung transplant, or even when he fell into a coma.
I had people that just stood up to administrators, stood up to doctors, stood up to nurses, and said, we're not going to do it to him, and here I am.
Chuck came out of the coma to find he was in a new hospital, and 2 months had gone by. He was having panic attacks because he was afraid to fall back asleep.
I was this close to death, and I never got to say goodbye to my daughters. I never got to say goodbye to Lisa. It was, and everything just kept piling on.
But he kept improving, much to the amazement of his doctors. His lungs somehow healed on their own, and after 131 days and 3 hospitals, he came home to Livonia.
Till I got in the car to drive home, it didn't really hit, and I cried. I cried when I got in the car. And it was a long road. It was a very long road, and these guys and everybody else just, it was over. It's overwhelming.
He's living bearded again, and Chuck is now vaccinated too, but he wasn't in March. He was hesitant, which brings him to his first message.
If you haven't done it, trust me, you want to do it.
And the second.
I hope people, you know, they see this and they just take away, don't give up. You know, if you're an advocate, fight for them.
Every day Chuck's making progress, but he says he's not sure he'll ever make it back to 100%. But after everything, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Tough stuff there, isn't he? All right, Jason. The pandemic is causing trash to pile up outside homes across Metro Detroit. One neighborhood near Brighton hasn't seen their trash picked up more than 3 weeks. Neighbors very frustrated with the mess. They say the piles of trash left near their driveways stinks.
They're supposed to come by Monday and pick it up, and that's all we do is keep crossing our fingers. I try not to even go by it because the smell is, if you lift up the trash can, it's just the smell is outrageous.
Trash contractor GFL says the delays are because they're short-staffed, and they also they're guarded to get right now. So GFL is saying the best they can do right now, the best statement they can make is that they're hoping to get to a regular schedule later this year. Now, the man we talked to, though, tells us that crews were out to pick up his trash today.
That's good news. Well, 2 men are the first to plead guilty to assaulting a police officer in the January 6th Capitol riot. Scott Fairlam of New Jersey and Devlin Thompson of Washington pleaded guilty today. The FBI says Fairlam, whose brother is a Secret Service agent, was seen punching an officer after leaving the Capitol. Both men face more than 3 years in prison. They'll be sentenced in September.
Not going to be easy to get around this weekend in Macomb County, and that's because eastbound M59 is down to 1 lane from Ryan to Utica roads. That's eastbound. On westbound M59, it's just 1 lane from Van Dyke to Ryan. There's also only 1 lane going both directions on Van Dyke at M59. This is for emergency sewer repair work that is expected to wrap up Monday. But if you're heading to Jimmy John's Field this weekend, keep that in mind, build in a little time. MDOT is warning drivers tonight about what can happen when you ignore road closure signs.
This happened yesterday on the southbound lanes of I-275 near Eureka and Romulus. MDOT says a driver ignored a ramp closure sign and drove right into wet cement. The car was damaged. Fortunately, though, nobody was hurt. Still ahead, a local veteran gets a big surprise.
How he reacted to getting a brand new roof free of charge.
A dangerous high-speed chase goes through several neighborhoods. See the moment it finally ended.
But first, some local school districts say they are following the CDC's new guidelines, but are still not requiring students to wear masks. Well, the state's top doctor weighs in on that next.